Alright, here's my onion bed and carrot and radish. I'm not sure if these are carrots popping up or if they're radish. Either way, we have stuff growing. Now you see these little sprigs of what looks like grass? That's actually called nut sedge. And I just weeded it out a couple days ago. And it's back. But, you know, I look at it more like a early harvest. I'll show you why. Well, I'll just tell you right now, you can eat this stuff. There's a little, I'm not sure if it's actually classified as a nut, but there's a little, I'm gonna call it a nut, there's a little nut attached to the root system of each and every one of these little nut sedges. So I'm gonna call this an early harvest. Optimists rule this world. Within their own lives. If you try to conquer, then good luck with that. So let's weed out some nut sedge. I'm still getting used to this camera. What angle is the best? I don't know. Why am I finding robin eggs? Is it the starling? Because I know starlings take eggs out of native birds' nests, not only to take over that nest, but to thin out the competition. Well, whatever these are, radish or carrot, they certainly are putting out some new growth. That's a great sign. I just weeded this. There's another egg. I found 2 eggs down here yesterday. I know robins come down here a lot because they love worms and they love pulling my pepper and tomato plants out of the ground. A rabbit likes eating them too. It is what it is. That's why I planted way more than I'll ever need for just myself. Half tempted to fry it up. I mean, what else am I gonna do with it? Give it to the chickens? Maybe. They eat their own eggs. Such a shame. It is what it is. I'm gonna get those other eggs and get me a little collection going. Whew. It's probably rained like 2.5 inches in the past 4 or 5 days. It is just nothing but mud. Gotta watch my step here. Broken robin egg. Another broken robin egg. 2 intact robin eggs. They're just sitting on top of the beds. Do they just hop around and these just fall on out? I mean, I'm no bird expert, but I don't think that's how it works. Anyway, I almost want to eat them myself, but they're too small to risk that food poisoning, I guess. I'll stick to the nut sedge. Three little eggs sitting on my garden bed. Why in the world? How does this make any sense? I'm gonna feed them to my chickens. Now you gotta know what you're looking for here. We have crabgrass, we have onion, we have my penis slipping out of my shorts, we have nut sedge, And that one broke off. The nut is now still in the ground and it will just come right back. And I don't get to eat anything now. Remember, we're not just weeding. This is the early harvest. Nut sedge is actually pretty good. Oh, there's a centipede. I used to be horrified of those. No nuts with that one. Must still be in the ground. It is wet. These things are pulling up really easy. Little worm. I gotta work on my posture. When I'm bent down like this, I can really feel it on my lower back. There we go. Oh God. It'd be a miracle if I don't crush a few onions by the end of this video. Alright, hey little worm, do your thing. So we can just feel around for our nut. This is a pretty sizable nut. They vary in size, but compared to other ones you'll find. See that color? I believe the camera's focused. It's got some dirt on it, of course, like anything you get out of the ground. I can do a little temporary wash, or a little on-the-go wash. I usually just group them all together in my little container and then wash them off at the same time, but I'd rather not eat dirt. It doesn't taste horrible, but you just get that nut right there. It's sweet. It's sweet. It bursts like a gusher, but without all the poison. The skin on it is a little tough, but power through it. Physically tough. It doesn't taste bad, the skin is just some good fiber. There's another little one. Got a little dirt with that one. Still sweet. Why just weed? Why not? You're just gonna throw away food, why not eat it? If you know what you're pulling and you're 100% sure it is what it is, and pretty hard to find anything that you think is nut sedge that isn't nut sedge. This is nut sedge. Looks like grass. I mean, but it's a sedge. This one didn't come with a nut. It's still in the ground. Oh well. There's so many. But good, great, that's more food for me. Let's feed the eggs to the chickens. I don't know what much more I can talk about with this, unless you want to watch me pull this stuff for a couple hours. Yeah, there's another little nut. I like to get an example of it hanging off one of the roots, because it can go pretty far down. It can go a few inches in the ground, and then one root comes off of the nut all the way up to the crown of the plant. Which really, I mean, I crushed a robin egg. I mean, that's sort of the whole point, feeding it to the chickens. You can see the little embryo, or Doesn't smell rotten. I could probably eat this. I'll most likely just go feed it to the chickens, but it's just such a shame to waste anything, which nothing's wasted. It all goes into the earth, but might as well benefit from it. And I got my little weeding tool here. A katana. All right, chicas and Rex, will you eat a robin egg? Come on, Rex. We're cool now, right? Look. No. Sorry about got you. They eat eggshells, they eat the yolk of eggs. You just don't want to give them their own eggs as an egg, uncracked, because then they'll start eating their eggs that they lay in their nest, or they're more likely to. Seems like they like it. I've literally been holding those eggs in my left hand the entire time from up there. It's interesting getting that camera set up. Oh, that's not a worm. Now a robin egg intact, I mean. Whoa, Rex, yeah, boy. This is the closest he's gotten to me. Well, peacefully. Hey, bud. Oh, yeah. I'm speaking the dude's language. Got some talons on you, boy. Eggshells are a great source of calcium, which they need to lay eggs. The great thing about chickens is they won't eat too much of anything. At least in my experience. I am a beginner, but if they've had enough of it, they've had enough. And I know this because Puff right here, whoo, she is an annihilator of anything, especially grubs down at the compost pile. And I've held grubs right in front of, well, I do this motion because I pick little globs of manure up that are filled with grubs, and I split it open and they peck at it. They go wild. She is an eater. But yeah, she'll reach a certain point where she's just grubbed out. Give me a worm. I was shocked whenever she saw the grub and just didn't eat it. How'd I know she saw it? Because she sees grubs I don't see sometimes. She gets it. If it's in front of her face, she sees it. Well, at least the robin eggs didn't go to waste. Oh yes, clean it off. There's a perfectly good slug right there. You don't like slugs? I've seen you eat a slug before. Nah, I could see how it's... So I've got all the nuts I'm gonna get from this. I've started to just pull them. You know, it's cool and all getting a harvest, but I'll show you this in a sec. But it takes a lot of time digging them out and then getting a nut half the time. I'd rather just pull them. They most likely are gonna break off at the top without giving you anything. Sometimes though, it's loose enough and you'll get a nut. So I'll still harvest what I can, but I'm not gonna go through the trouble to get every single one harvested. If anything, I'm just weeding. There's plenty more babies where that came from, but they'll be a little easier to see in a couple days. Let's wash them off. There's also plenty more in these other beds among crabgrass, which I need to pull now rather than later because those little rhizomes are shooting stuff up and they're really loose right now, but they'll be in the ground before you know it. Look at all this. Woo. That's me lettuce bed. I planted spinach over here. Doesn't seem like it's taken, so I just planted corn. It's gonna be a good way to determine if I should plant all my dent corn, which I'm gonna use for chicken feed. You want to make sure the soil's warm enough before you plant corn. And I've never done it, so once this stuff sprouts, if it sprouts, then I'll know it's time and that I'm ready. I'm gonna be planting all that dent corn in another garden bed in which I've plowed. Yeah, you can see all these weeds, all that grass. Just gotta pick it. Not like I expected it not to be there. All this was grass about a month ago, if that. It was all turned over, and then I put some more soil that I dug from these trenches on top of it, and I flattened it out, chopped it in. This is the beet bed. Look at the little beets. I need to thin them out. They like more alkaline soil. And I have a bunch of acidic loving pines that pine needles drop and they make soil more acidic, so who knows how this is gonna go. Beats me. We'll see. Well, we've got our harvest. This is what they look like washed off. Anything that looks like dirt on that's just root or dirt. They don't burst with as much flavor when they've been in the fridge for a day. Still some good protein and fiber, I assume. Chew, that's a lot of chewing. So we have the nut attached to the root. Now I might be getting my terms off here, but a true botanist will be able to tell you, but we got a nut, then a root leading to the plant. And if you pull this out, hopefully you'll be lucky enough to have the nut come with it. But most times, they just break right off. And when they break off, when you pull them, I'm sure that they send out some more plant after that. I don't think that's the last you see of them. So yeah, I mean, I'd say when you're weeding, it is a pretty good idea to get the nut as well, but it's much quicker to just pull, and keep on pulling. Work them around, get that dirt off. Some grass in there. Plant material. More dirt. It ain't much, but it's honest. I'm still chewing. They don't taste bad though. The fresh ones definitely are better though. Oh yeah. I mean, that's the case with anything. That's why I try not to eat anything preserved other than canned. Or preserved by natural means and not just a bunch of cardboard that has natural chemical flavoring added to it. There's probably other chemicals that do something to your brain that make you addicted to it. Then lead to you being tired and depressed. Even the organic stuff in grocery stores, I'd much rather just pick it from my garden and eat it. The longer that something sits, the less nutrients it has, and the less that it tastes good. It's not going to taste as good if it's not fresh. English, English, English. Good thing I can trim videos. I swear I talk better than this. I just making a YouTube video, you know? I don't have a curriculum, I just making this up as I go. Yeah, I'll probably not trim it. Leave the video how it is. There, we got some nut sedge. Still a little bit of dirt here and there, but whatever. Sort of don't want to mix the old with the new, but I'm probably not going to eat all of this right now anyway. Just a little piece of hay wouldn't kill me. I got enough fiber, enough things to chew through, enough stuff to chew through with all this outer layering of the nut. Don't choke. A little bit of dirt still. Well, I've gotten my meal for the day. Time to put these no littering signs down at the road, cause it'd be trashy down there. And I figured I'd go with the please ones instead of the don't ones, because if you tell someone that litters to not do something, they're most likely gonna do it twice as much. But if you say please, it's like, oh, you give that sorry soul some kind of sense of, hey, you have the power to not be a litter bug. I believe in you, kind of thing. I don't know. Initially, I wanted to put a sign out that says trash litters, but you know, that's a... And I know it would antagonize them to most likely throw their trash right at the sign, which is part of the reason why I wanted to do that, because it'd all be consolidated. But yeah, maybe this will get to them. We'll get through to them. We'll see. Oh yeah, look at me harvest.